Welcome to the Geek Homeworld. I am your host, SavageTechman. We talk sci-fi, TV, movies, superheroes, and all from a geek perspective. You can find us on Blogger, Google+, Twitter, Facebook. We're everywhere. Join the Geek Homeworld. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Geek Homeworld podcast. I am your host, SavageTechman, aka Ed. And we're talking here our summer movie preview. And we're going to kind of kick it off with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is already in theaters at the time of this recording. Our last episode was a spoiler-free edition. This is our spoiler-filled edition. So some of the high points of the movie, we find out the big question of who Peter Quill's father is, and it's Ego the Planet. And some of the best visuals I've seen, besides the wonderful favorite part of the movie, which was the opening credits. We had a horrendous time, as we talked about on the last episode. You can check that out on episode 60 of the podcast, but we had a time at our theater with them trying to get the film started. We were watching it in the Big D, and they had to restart the movie about 3 to 4 times till we finally got to see it. Everything was cool, but our 2.5 hour movie was about 3 hours for us, but we still enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Should you go out and see it? You should have already seen it. And we were going to see it a second time, but at this point we haven't. But definitely would like to see it again. I want to see it in IMAX 3D. I think it would do it really good justice to see the movie in that format. And this is a fun popcorn summer movie, if you know what I mean. It's a great way to have kicked off our summer of 2017. Now, Fast 8 has come a few weeks before that. And Fast 8, or Fast and Furious 8, F8, was very good, and it kind of kicked off an early season, but now getting into the thick of the beginning of the season for summer movies. And so Fast 8 still in theaters at this time. You should go out and see it. It's a good fun ride. It's not going to expand any of your brain cells, but it won't kill any, or if it is killing any of them, you have a great time while it's doing that. So you should go see Fast 8. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, highly recommended by the podcast here. We're going to see that again, hopefully. I guess you could say it went close to that formula that Guardians did, but Volume 2 was even better in some ways, and the rumors for Guardians 3, and at this point, maybe Guardians 4, but definitely there's going to be a Guardians 3. You can pretty much bet $1 billion on that, which it's not quite there yet, but it'll get there worldwide. But Volume 2, one of my favorite parts, like I said a little bit earlier, was Kurt Russell's part playing Ego the Living Planet. The rumors are, now these are rumors, that Galactus could be one of the next big villains they face, possibly in Guardians 3. That would be incredible, because the next time we see the Guardians of the Galaxy, they're going to be in the Avengers movie we've been waiting for since Iron Man in 2008, Infinity Wars, part 1 of that, the first movie, where Thanos and the Avengers and pretty much 40 or 50 other heroes all come together, including Guardians of the Galaxy cast, and they're going to fight Thanos. Now that's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to see the egos on screen and how well, not just Ego the Living Planet, I don't know how he's going to factor into it, but I got a feeling whether that's addressed in Guardians 3 or in Infinity Wars, at some point I feel like Galactus is going to come in. That, if that rumor holds true, that would be awesome. No script written at this point, so we're total speculation on Galactus or any other people for Guardians 3. But it would be interesting to see. Maybe it's going to be Thanos. Who knows? I mean, they may intertwine the movies, because it's certainly part of the universe. What's upcoming next? On the 19th of May, we have Alien Covenant, which is a sequel kind of drawing the whole series together, but it's kind of a Prometheus sequel, and I really wanted more of a Prometheus sequel. I know a lot of people just want the next Aliens movie, etc., etc., and they were talking there was going to be some Ridley Scott beyond that, but now there's question whether he's just going to do Alien Covenant, which looks pretty awesome, and he may or may not have his fingers directly involved in Alien universe anymore. So we will see. A lot of speculation certainly going around about Alien Covenant and the future of the franchise there. But I think as long as this movie makes money, which it should, and I think it will please most of the audiences, there's going to be a re-release of the 20th anniversary, and I can't believe it's been that long, of The Fifth Element. So I intend to go back and watch The Fifth Element. But if you want to see it in theaters, it's coming out the 17th of May. The next movie that's high-profile movies that are coming out this summer are Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. And really the trailers they've released have not told us much about the movie. We know, where it's going to go, and it's still formulaic, but I think a lot of people will go see the movie. Will it be the highest grossing one of the series? I don't think so. I'm kind of over it. Will I go see it? Yeah, I'll probably go see it because it's probably going to look great visually and it'll probably be a pretty good story. And Johnny Depp is still a good actor, and this is one of his signature roles. And, Disney's going to promote it. They've been promoting it. And Dead Men Tell No Tales. Well, hopefully the tales that they don't tell, or do tell, I should say, will be good tales. So check that out. Friday, the 26th of May in theaters. June 2nd, we're into June now for our summer movie preview here. And Wonder Woman, the first big screen adaptation of Wonder Woman. For everybody, this movie, especially DC Universe, this movie has to work. And I think from looking at some of the early projections, some things I've seen online, and a little research I've done about Wonder Woman, starring Gal Gadot and Chris Pine as Steve Trevor, it's not tracking that well. Some of the prognostications are low for this movie. It has had some talk during the production that the production has had issues. Don't know about that, but there's always rumors this way and that way about how this movie is going to do. But it is imperative that Wonder Woman do well, especially not become a box office dud. This movie has to do well at the box office. It has to draw in a big crowd because, for a lot of reasons, for the DC Universe to really kind of save itself. It's not going to do the box office that Batman vs. Superman did, even though some people in their minds hate that movie. I thought it was a good movie. The Ultimate Edition, we've talked about before on the podcast here, I think does it more, no pun intended, but justice than watching the regular version. Of course, that's close to 3 hours long, but it does flesh out the plot better. So it's not such a horrible movie. Wonder Woman, when I saw the first teaser trailer of it, it looks okay, but I'm like, well, basically, this is Captain America the First Avenger, just set of a different war. Well, when I thought about it, looking at it now, I'm more excited seeing some of the trailers and seeing more of the action. But the prognostications for Wonder Woman say that it's going to probably open around probably what the bottom level opening of any of the Marvel movies would be, possibly on the lower end of the DC movie universe, which hasn't been really that many movies to compare it to. But I really want all our female listeners out there, people that really believe in Wonder Woman, go out and see this movie. Unless, of course, it ultimately sucks, then, of course, you're not going to go out and watch it and just go crazy about it. But this movie has to work. If Wonder Woman does not work, it's going to spell a lot of trouble for the DC Universe, and it may affect what you see on the screen coming up. Justice League, as we know, is already coming out later this year, has already had its tone changed because of the backlash and some of the fan disapproval of Batman versus Superman. So in that sense, I'm saying I think that, it's gonna be more lighthearted, and it won't be as serious. But Wonder Woman, I think, is going to come off as a fun movie. I don't know that it's going to be the best DC movie, but I'm definitely going to see it, and I'm sure I will like it. It's going to have to do a lot. A movie has to do a lot to really lose my interest and to really not do well. Now, a movie that I'm worried about, but I like the previews and I like the star, Tom Cruise's The Mummy, which is coming out the following weekend, which could chop into some of Wonder Woman's box office. Friday, June 9th, we have The Mummy coming out. Now, this is not a Nicolas Cage reboot of his Mummy movies or whatever. It's nothing to do with that. It's going back to the original of The Mummy. But now this Mummy is totally different, so it's kind of its own thing, but it's existing off the original synopsis of what The Mummy was. So this is a different take on it, and hopefully it will work. Usually with Tom Cruise, it's going to be you already know it's going to be a great action movie, because you've already seen the sequence with him and the plane crash and then coming back on the trailers. So that makes it intriguing enough. I mean, and Tom Cruise does great action movies, but hopefully this will have enough substance and it'll really catch fire at the box office and do really well. So June 9th, be on the lookout for The Mummy. Another franchise one that's wearing me down, just like Pirates of the Caribbean, this franchise is wearing me down. Transformers: The Last Knight. And this movie now, with Anthony Hopkins in it, is going to supposedly tell you the origin of the Transformers. I've enjoyed the Transformers movies as a non-fan of the original. Not that I wasn't a fan of the original Transformers, I'm just not a diehard fan of it. And for those diehard fans, they've hated the Michael Bay Transformers, which are basically all the movies. They've not really been kind to the whole franchise, in some cases for good reason. I myself am getting tired of Bumblebee not being able to speak. I don't understand why, and maybe they'll explain that. I know they've explained it in movies, but it just doesn't jive with me, so I'm hoping to see a lot of different things in this. I know the action's going to be great and all that, but I really just want to see a good, solid Transformers movie. So on Wednesday, June 21st, you will get to see if Transformers: The Last Knight holds up to your expectations, and I hope it does. And they have sworn there'll be no more, but then they come with The Last Knight, so maybe this is the last one. I don't know. If it's really good, and does well, of course it'll come back. Next, we're into July, and we're looking at Spider-Man: Homecoming, which is going to be an awesome movie. I think it's going to be very fun. Tom Holland really has done a lot with this role and brought a lot of young humor to this portrayal of Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and the trailers so far look great. Of course, it's going to have Tony Stark in it, so you can't go wrong there with Iron Man and Spider-Man teaming up. And the Vulture is going to be, I think, an awesome villain. A villain I wouldn't have cared about, but Michael Keaton, I think, will really bring a depth to the role of the Vulture that is probably needed. And let's just keep it at one villain for now, okay? So up next is on Friday, July 14th, War for the Planet of the Apes. And I can't be happier to see this. I believe this is the third in the series of movies since the reboot of Planet of the Apes. And War for the Planet of the Apes is going to be epic. I believe from the trailer, it just seems great. I want to see Caesar in action. I want to see how this all plays out, as we all do. And let's see, we have another movie coming out in July that we're looking forward to, and this Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. Now, the story of that movie, and that's coming out July 21st, Valerian goes way back to, it almost predates Star Wars and like novels, graphic novels and comics and such. And you can see where A lot of science fiction from the 80s, 90s, late 70s, all the way to the present, basically has pulled from Valerian, and it's finally made it to screen, and it's coming July 21st, and we hope it's going to be good. I'm not super excited for it, but the trailer looks pretty awesome, but it looks like a lot of movies that have just not translated well to the screen. I don't feel super excited at all about Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets, but we will see. And explain to me what a City of 1,000 Planets is, okay? I don't know much about Valerian, so just right off the bat, not sure. And then we get into August, and really the biggest thing in August to kind of close out our summer movie preview. By then we'll be getting close to closing the summer down, but the biggest release is The Dark Tower with Idris Elba. And I believe that, adapted from the Stephen King novelizations of The Dark Tower, I think it's going to be spectacular. And he's basically kind of like a gunslinger, and it's got some sci-fi related aspects to it. And I think it's going to be an interesting movie. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. So that's Friday, August the 4th, The Dark Tower. So we'll be monitoring all this during the summer. We'll be watching out. We hope you'll give us some feedback on what you think your favorite movies are. There's probably some, too many to cover, but these were just some of the highlighted movies that we're interested in seeing. And we want to know what you want to see. So let us know at Geek Homeworld here on Twitter. And check us out on the website, geekhomeworld.libsyn.com. Check out our blog, Blogspot, the places. And thanks for all the interaction. So have fun this summer at the movies. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Geek Homeworld podcast with your host, SavageTechman. You can find us on Libsyn, Google+, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, listen to us on iTunes, see us on YouTube, be part of our Mixler chats. Thank you. See you again on the Geek Homeworld podcast.